So next question, critically evaluate the continental drift hypothesis of Alfred Wegener. The drifting of continents was first suggested by the French scholar Antonius Schneider in 1858, but this was so much opposed to the scientific view that nobody took notice of it. In 1910, A.B. Taylor of America involved the hypothesis of horizontal displacement of continental drift with a view to explaining the distribution of mountain ranges. But due to various reasons, the hypothesis of Taylor received scant attention. German professor Alfred Wegener was the first to be present in the lecture. His idea that Earth's land masses migrates. His books Origin of Continents and Oceans appeared in 1950. Wegener is regarded as the father of this concept based on his theory not only on the shape of the continents but also on geological evidence such as similarities in the fossil found in Brazil and Africa. Wegener, through a series of maps, showed the three stages in the drifting process, beginning with an original large landmass, which he called Pangaea, meaning all lands. Wegener believed that the continents composed of light silicic rocks floated through the denser rocks of the ocean floor, driven by the forces related to the Earth. Wegener was drawn to the idea to explain the ancient climates of the past. The climatic changes on the Earth may be explained in two ways. The continents remain stationary at their places. The climatic zones might have shifted from one region to another. The climatic zones remain stationary. The landmass have been displaced and drifted. Wegener collected evidence in support of his view from a very wide area, and on the basis of this evidence, Pangaea means all Earth. Pan means all and Gaea means Earth is a hypothetical continent from which the present continents originated by drift from the Carboniferous period to the present. According to Wegener's hypothesis, the Pangaea broke up to form Laurasia, North America, Greenland, and Eurasia, and north of the Indian subcontinent, Gondwanaland, South Africa, Laurasia, North America, Greenland, Eurasia, north of Indian subcontinent, and Gondwanaland, South America, Africa, Madagascar, India, Arabia, Malaysia, East Indies, Australia, Antarctica. These two blocks are separated by a long shallow sea. This is called Tethys Sea. The Pangaea was surrounded on all sides by an extensive water mass called Panthalassa. Pan means all and thalassa means ocean. Wegener also assumed that in the Carboniferous period, the South Pole was near Natal, means South African coast, and North Pole was in the Pacific Ocean. Wegener is also of the opinion that the continents are made of shale and the ocean basins are made of sima. Shale being lighter in floating over the sima, denser sima. Direction of drift. Wegener opines that the continent drifted in two directions, towards the equator and towards the west. The equatorward drift, Africa and Eurasia, were pushed closer together to the Tethys Sea deposits. Located in between the two were ridges up in the form of mighty folded mountains of the Alps and Atlas, Himalayas, etc. The peninsula of India and Africa were separated from the Antarctica and Australia because of the equatorward drift. The westward movement was due to the tidal forces of the moon and the sun on the continents. This westward drift, North America and South America got separated from Europe and Africa, and Atlantic Ocean came into existence. Evidence in support of the continental drift. Wagner, in support of his theory, gathered geomorphological, climatological, and paleontological evidence. Some of the evidences given in support of the theory are the geographical similarity in the approaching coast of the Atlantic Ocean. The eastern coast of the South American filed against the western coast of Africa. This was called the jigs of it. To the opposing coast of Atlantic Ocean and paleontological evidence. The striking military similarity of certain fossils are found on the continents on both sides of the Atlantic Ocean. Fossils of Glossopteris, a fern like plants, have been found in rocks of the same age from South America, South Africa, India, and Australia, and within 400 kilometers of the south pole of the Antarctica. And matured seeds of these plants are several millimeters in diameter, too large to have been displaced across the ocean by winds. The simultaneous presence of Glossopteris can be seen on all the southern continents. Therefore, there is a strong supporting evidence that the continents were once connected. The distribution of Paleozoic and Mesozoic reptiles provides similar evidence as fossils. Several species have been found in the now separated southern continents. Evidence from structure and rock types. A number of geological features and abruptly at the coast of one continent and reappear on the facing continent across the Atlantic Ocean. The folded mountains ranges at the Cape of Good Hope at the southern tip of Africa, and structure of same age and style of deformation appears near Buenos Aires in Argentina. The Appalachians of the northeastern regions of North America are compatible with the mountain systems of Ireland, Wales, and northwestern Europe. Evidence from glaciation. In the Paleozoic era, about 300 million years ago, glacier shell covered a large portion of the continents in the southern hemisphere, except for Antarctica. All the continents in the southern hemisphere have no trace of glaciation during this time. Evidence from other paleoclimatic records. Evidence of striking climatic changes occurs in the stratigraphic records tends to support the drift theory. Great coal deposits in Antarctica show that abundant plant life once flourished on that continent, now covered with ice. On the other continent, salt deposits, formation of wind-blown sandstone, and coral reefs provide additional clues to reconstruct the climatic zone of the past. Paleomagnetic evidence. There has been changes in the position of the poles in the different geological periods to which Wagner called polar wandering. The paleomagnetic data reliably indicate the existence of Pangea at the end of the Paleozoic era. Criticism of Wagner's theory. It is clear that Wagner had amassed an improving array of evidences in support of his theory, and some of these evidences are undeniably convincing. The theory was based on speculation and inadequate evidence that is provoked a lot of criticism and controversy, and people are not inclined to accept his view. The great criticism of Wagner was hopelessly inadequate to cause drift. The westward drift to the continents was ascribed by Wagner to the tidal force and the moons and the sun. But this movement is only possible when the tidal force is in 10,000 millions times more than at present. And if the tidal force really increased to this dimension, then it would have stopped the rotation of the Earth within 1 year. If there is clear evidence of drift, then the inevitability point to a force which would have caused it cannot be considered to be a genuine criticism theory. The second objection raised against the theory was that the Rockies and the Andes mountain system could not have been formed Rockies and Andes mountain systems, and they could not have been formed in the manner evidences by Wagner, because if the shell was floating over the Sima, then the Sima could not offer so much resistance to westward movement of the continents as to cause faults and build mountain system. The third object was the jigsaw fit of the opposing coast, the Atlantic Ocean, on which so much stress was laid, was not complete. The Earth crust to expect that after the breaking and drift of the continents, there would be an exact split of the opposing coast of Atlantic is unnatural. Fourth objection was closely related to the third, although there was similarly in the structural and stratigraphical features of the two coasts of the Atlantic. It would not be quite correct to conclude that that it was an extension of the other and that they were joined together. It is true that Wagner presented his case more like an advocate than like a scientist, emphasizing the evidences in his support and ignoring those which went against his theory. So thank you.